Witch Nightlight Polymer Clay Sculpture Time-Lapse by HotPinkZebraPaper. In this particular video, I'm not going to go in depth as to what I'm doing each step of the way. If you'd like a more detailed description and tutorial of what I'm doing, check the description box. I have the entire video split out into parts. So there's going to be where I'm sculpting with the clay, where I'm painting, where I'm doing the fabrication, and then all the parts that I'm using the nail acrylic. And that is actually on my other channel that's just for nail art. So this is kind of a 2-channel tutorial. But if you'd like to see more on what I'm doing for each part, definitely check down below for those links and you will get much more detailed descriptions of what I'm doing. So her cauldron is the first thing that I made. And so I made the base I made a section on the base for it to rest on, and then I made the cauldron itself. Then I just painted the inside, made the loop, painted the outside with black. And then I'm going to be making the bubbling brew inside. So it's just a plate of acrylic. And then I'm going to paint my base with some green and some spider webs. And like I said, I'm using so many different types of products here. This takes, I did some sewing, some painting, some sculpting, some nail art stuff. I did gluing, and really there's a lot of different techniques used to make this. And I will try my best to say some alternatives if you are interested. So to make the biggest alternative that I'd say is what to do if you don't have acrylic here. And I know that most of you probably don't have acrylic unless you've come from my nail channel. And if that's the case, welcome to my other channel. Please subscribe. But if you don't have acrylic at your disposal, I totally understand. It's a very specialized product. And one, you could either buy it and try to work that out if you'd like. Otherwise, there are certain things, like maybe you could try using some type of caulk, or you can use liquid clay if you make a little mold first. That would probably be the best results, is to try to use liquid clay. Otherwise, a type of glue might do you well. You could definitely try that as well. And so the things I made out of acrylic is that circle that goes on top of the cauldron, and that has to have a sort of transparency for the light to show through it. And I made her necklace out of acrylic, and I made the potion bottles out of acrylic. The potion bottles are the easiest thing to find something else. You can buy little potion bottles at just about any craft store, especially this time of year. I know at Michael's they have little potion bottles by the steampunk section in the jewelry area. And I think they're in the same place at Hobby Lobby. But there's other craft stores, but I would definitely try like the jewelry area. Otherwise, you can look online. I know that you can get them on eBay as well. Anyway, so that would be an alternative for getting the potion bottles. As for her necklace, you can sculpt that out of clay. There'd be no issue with that. It's just the polymer clay is a little less strong. The nail acrylic is stronger than that, and so with the little thin charm on the necklace, I was afraid it would be breaking if I made it with clay, even just after I cooked it, just to take it out of the oven. It would be super thin, but you might not be as big of a klutz as I am and might have no issues with it whatsoever. So if that's the case, go ahead, give that a go. Good luck. I just know that me and myself, I would break it because that's what I do. I'm good at breaking things. And so yeah, and so as you can see now I'm sewing for the hat. And when I don't sew very often, I don't know all the technical terms for it either. And so bear with me with that part. I try to hot glue as much as I can. I'm a gluer, not a sewer, but I can get by when I have to. And I had to sew the hat together because if I was trying to use glue, the glue would show through the fabric and it would look horrible. So I used glue instead. And another thing that I want to mention that I forgot to mention in the sculpting video, in the sculpting tutorial, is that her one hand is holding the stick. So that one I spoke about making sure that it left a hole in the center. But the other hand, the one that's resting on her waist, you have to make sure that that is not actually touching her waist. So you could see that I did put a piece of foil between her hand and her waist. But that is so hugely important as it is cooking that it's not touching her, because then you won't be able to dress her. And so you have to be able to leave enough room between her hand and her waist to get the material underneath her hand without it breaking. And I just want to mention that quickly because it is so important. Because otherwise you won't be able to put clothes on your witch, and then she'd just be naked and it'd be a whole thing that wouldn't be very good. Although, I don't know, maybe witches prefer to brew naked. That could be a whole nother video. Anyways, I am now painting the frogs, and so all these things that I made, there are so many different little charms that you could put on here. You don't have to make potion bottles. You don't have to make frogs. You could give her a black cat. That would be cute. You could make a broom for her. There's so many different things. This is just what I'm using and what I'm doing for her. I love frogs. In case you haven't seen my other frog videos on this channel, the first video I actually made on this channel was my painting of a martini glass and frogs. And so, yeah. And now I'm going to be decorating her stir stick. And that's it. Once it's all put together and glued, like I said, this wasn't really a tutorial as much as just me talking through it a little bit. If you'd like to know more about each of the steps as they go, definitely check out the link below or the links below for the other videos. And thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. I would love that. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.